The proper film frame and its difference from a drama frame primarily depend on the medium, aspect ratio, frame rate, and overall cinematic techniques used. Here's a breakdown. Film frame, cinema. Aspect ratio, commonly 2.39 to 1, Cinemascope, or 1.85 to 1 for widescreen films. Frame rate, typically 24 frames per second for a more natural motion, blur, and cinematic feel. Camera movements and composition uses dynamic, artistic framing with intentional compositions, depth and lighting. Lighting and color grading, more stylized, often using high-end color grading for a polished, cinematic look. Lenses and depth of field. Uses anamorphic or cinematic lenses, often with shallow depth of field for a more immersive and artistic look. Sound design, 5.1 or 7.1 surround sound for theatrical releases, creating an immersive auditory experience. Drama frame, TV and web series. Aspect ratio, usually 16 to 9, optimized for television and streaming platforms. Frame rate, often 25 frames per second in PAL regions or 30 frames per second in NTSC regions, sometimes 50 or 60 frames per second for smoother motion in live TV dramas. Camera movements and composition. More straightforward framing, often focused on characters' dialogues rather than artistic shots. Lighting and color grading. More natural or flat lighting, sometimes lacking the deep contrast seen in films. Lenses and depth of field, often uses standard lenses with moderate depth of field to keep multiple characters in focus. Sound design, usually stereo or basic surround sound, optimized for home or streaming device speakers. To achieve a film-like look for your Netflix project, you should focus on the following elements. Cinematic aspect ratio, use 2.39 to 1, also known as Cinemascope, or 1.85 to 1 instead of the standard TV 16:9. This gives a widescreen effect, adding depth and professionalism. You can achieve this by shooting in a higher resolution, like 4K or 6K, and cropping in post-production. Frame rate and motion blur. Shoot at 24 frames per second to maintain the traditional cinematic motion. Use a 180-degree shutter rule, which means your shutter speed should be 1/48 seconds for 24 frames per second to get natural motion blur. Camera work and composition. Cinematic lenses. Use anamorphic lenses for wide shots and organic flares, or prime lenses such as 35mm, 50mm or 85mm for shallow depth of field. Composition. Follow the rule of thirds, leading lines and negative space for artistic frames. Depth of field. Keep background slightly blurred, also known as shallow focus, to separate characters from the background. Alright, let's talk about lighting for a filmic look. First, use 3-point lighting, that's your key light, fill light and backlight for those professional results. It's crucial to control your light sources. You can create high contrast with techniques like Rembrandt lighting or go for a soft cinematic glow. Practical lights such as lamps, neon lights, and even candles can add a realistic touch. And make sure to avoid overexposed flat lighting, because that can make your footage look like a TV drama, which is something we definitely want to steer clear of. Moving on to cinematic color grading, start by shooting in log or raw format to capture a wider dynamic range. Then apply a cinematic LUT or lookup table to achieve that professional color tone. Teal and orange grading is quite common in Hollywood films and can add warmth and contrast to your scenes. Finally, adjust the contrast and blacks to create a deep film-like tone. Now, let's dive into camera movement. Using cinematic movements can really elevate your film. Slow push-ins can add emotional impact, while smooth tracking shots achieved with a Steadicam or gimbal provide fluidity. For more intense or documentary-style scenes, a handheld camera works wonders, and don't forget about dolly or crane shots for those sweeping dramatic moments. So, let's talk about sound and music. Record high-quality dialogue with a shotgun mic or lapel mic. Use surround sound design like a 5.1 mix to add depth and realism. Background music should be orchestral, atmospheric, or subtle, matching the emotion. Moving on to post-production and VFX. Edit with cinematic pacing, using longer takes and avoiding excessive jump cuts. Sound design is key. Use ambient sounds, reverb, and Foley to add realism. If you're using VFX, make sure they blend seamlessly with practical effects. Finally, let's discuss avoiding TV drama tropes. Don't overuse close-ups, use wide shots to establish space, limit excessive dialogue, let visuals tell the story. Avoid flat lighting, which is common in TV dramas. Keep cinematic pacing with proper rhythm in editing. Let's talk about equipment recommendations. For cameras, you might consider the ARRI Alexa, Red Komodo, Sony FX6 or FX3, and the Blackmagic 6K. When it comes to lenses, anamorphic lenses like the Atlas Orion or Vazen or high-quality cineprimes such as Sigma and Zeiss are excellent choices. For gimbals and stabilizers, the DJI Ronin and Movie Pro are top-notch. And for lighting, you can't go wrong with the Aputure 120D Nanlite Forza or Godox VL300. Now let's dive into cinematic equipment recommendations for your Netflix film. I'll break it down based on budget tiers so you can choose what fits your project best. Let's discuss cameras, both Netflix-approved and budget-friendly options. Netflix has a list of approved cameras, but if you're working on a lower budget, I'll also suggest some alternatives. For high-end Netflix-approved options, consider the ARRI Alexa Mini LF, which is an industry standard for films, though it comes with a hefty price tag of $75,000 or more for rental. The Red V Raptor 8K offers cinematic quality with excellent dynamic range at around $25,000. And the Sony Venice 2 is another high-end option used in Netflix originals, costing over $40,000. But if you're looking for the best choice among these, the Red Komodo 6K is the most affordable Netflix-approved camera at about $6,000. For mid-range, cinematic but budget-friendly options, the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro 12K offers super high resolution, ideal for VFX work, and is priced around $6,000. The Sony FX6 is compact yet powerful for cinematic visuals, also around $6,000, and the Canon C500 Mark II is a solid choice for cinema production, though it costs about $10,000. For those on a budget, great options for indie filmmakers include the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro, which is the best low-budget cinematic camera at approximately $2,500. The Sony FX3, small but delivering Netflix-quality images, costs around $3,800, and the Canon R5C, a hybrid cinema camera, is priced at about $4,500. Among these, the best budget pick is the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro, which is affordable and delivers a film-like quality. Lenses are more important than the camera in getting a film-like look. Let's dive into some of the options available, starting with high-end cine lenses. The ARRI Master Prime, often used in Hollywood films, is quite expensive, costing over $20,000. Then we have the Leica Summicron C, known for its beautiful filmic softness, priced at $18,000. And for the best anamorphic look, the Cooke Anamorphic Eye comes in at $25,000. Moving on to mid-range cine lenses, the Sigma Cine Primes, available in focal lengths like 18mm, 35mm, 50mm and 85mm, are sharp and cinematic, each costing around $3,000. The Zeiss CP3 Cine lenses offer a classic cinematic look at $3,500 each. For a budget-friendly anamorphic option, the Atlas Orion Anamorphic is the best choice at $8,000. For those on a tighter budget, the Rokinon Scene Cine lenses are good for indie filmmaking, priced at $1,500 per lens. The Vazen 40mm anamorphic is the cheapest anamorphic option at $3,000. And for entry-level anamorphic, the Sirui anamorphic lenses are a great choice, costing around $1,000. If you're looking for the best budget pick, consider the Sigma Cine Primes or Rokinon Cyan. Proper lighting matters more than the camera when it comes to creating cinematic depth and mood. Let's explore some high-end lighting options first. The Aputure 600D Pro is a Hollywood-level LED light, priced at $1,500. The ARRI SkyPanel S60C is an industry-standard light costing around $6,000. And for mood lighting, the Astra Titan tubes are a popular choice, priced at $3,000. In the mid-range category, the Aputure 300X is great for soft lighting and costs about $1,000. The Godox VL300 is powerful and budget-friendly, priced at $600. For budget lights, the Aputure 120D2 is considered the best cheap cinematic light at $600. The Nanlite Forza 60B is small but powerful, costing around $300. And for the best light under $200, the Godox SL60W is a fantastic option. For those looking for the best budget pick, consider combining the Aputure 120D2 with the Godox VL300. For professional camera movement, stabilizers are key. Let's break it down by categories. High-end options include the ARRI Trinity Steadicam, perfect for professional-level tracking shots, though it comes with a hefty price tag of $40,000. Another high-end choice is the Movie Pro, a sophisticated gimbal priced at $7,000. In the mid-range category, we have the DJI Ronin 2, known as the most powerful stabilizer under $10,000, costing around $8,000. There's also the EasyRig Vario 5, which is excellent for handheld shooting and is priced at $2,500. For those on a budget, the DJI Ronin RS3 Pro stands out as the best cheap stabilizer at $1,000. Another budget-friendly option is the Zhiyun Crane 3S, suitable for mid-size cameras and priced at $600. The best budget pick? Definitely the DJI Ronin RS3 Pro. Bad audio can ruin even the best visuals, so it's crucial to invest in quality microphones. For professional setups, consider the Sennheiser MKH 416, a Hollywood boom mic priced at $1,000. Another top-tier option is the DPA 4061 lavalier, an industry standard for hidden mics at $500. In the mid-range, the Rode NTG5 is the best shotgun mic under $500. Additionally, the Sanken Seos 11 D Lavalier is an excellent mid-range lave mic priced at $400. On a budget, the Rode VideoMic NTG is a good on-camera mic for $250. And for indie filmmakers, the Zoom H6 recorder is the best choice, costing $350. The best budget combination, the Rode NTG5 paired with the Zoom H6. Editing and color grading define the final cinematic feel of your project. When it comes to editing software, Adobe Premiere Pro is the industry standard. For those focused on color grading, DaVinci Resolve is widely used in Hollywood. Another great option for Mac users is Final Cut Pro X. For those on a budget, the best pick is the free version of DaVinci Resolve, which is the best free option available. As for color grading LUTs, teal and orange LUTs can give your project a Hollywood look, while Kodak film LUTs replicate the real film stock appearance. Let's wrap things up with some final thoughts on the best setups for different budgets. For a high-end setup that meets Netflix standards, consider the following: a Red Komodo 6K camera, Sigma Cine Primes lenses, Aputure 600D Pro lighting, DJI Ronin 2 for stabilization, Sennheiser MKH 416 for audio, and DaVinci Resolve for editing. If you're looking for a mid-range setup that offers an affordable cinematic look, go for a Blackmagic Ursa Mini 12K camera, Zeiss CP3 or Sigma Cine lenses, Aputure 300X lighting, DJI Ronin RS3 Pro for stabilization, Rode NTG5 and Zoom H6 for audio, and DaVinci Resolve for editing. For those on a budget aiming for an indie film level, the best setup includes a Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro camera, Rokinon Cine lenses, Aputure 120D2 and Godox VL300 for lighting, DJI Ronin RS3 Pro for stabilization, Rode NTG5 and Zoom H6 for audio, and the free version of DaVinci Resolve for editing.